Kenom went directly to Patrol Dome 3. After greeting Master Teams, they went to Teams' office. Lord Barker was also there. When they sat down, Master Teams pulled some papers from his desk and said, "I have the deportation papers all made out for the maintenance man Zelton. He will be on the next supply ship back to Flexton." Lord Barker breaks in, "And I will see to it that he has a good thrashing before he goes." "That won't be necessary," said Kenom. "I have made other arrangements." Master Teams and Lord Barker looked at each other with fear in their faces. "And what might they be?" asked Master Teams timidly, fearing that perhaps he and his lords were also to be deported. "I'm sorry, but this matter is to remain confidential. His whereabouts will be known only to Central Command. I can only say that maintenance man Zelton will be dealt with in a manner that befits his crime. I consider the situation resolved. If you would be kind enough to have maintenance man Zelton brought over to the Central Dome, I will take it from there. And be sure and put him in a sealed module." "It will be done as you asked, Master Teams," said Master Teams. "Get on it at once, Lord Barker." Master Teams couldn't believe his good fortune at the outcome of what could have been the end of his career. "Yes, sir," said Lord Barker. Kenom could tell that Master Teams and Lord Barker were relieved that they were not being held responsible and that the matter was closed. One could almost hear Master Teams saying to himself, "It's party time." The sealed module was waiting for Kenom when he arrived at Central Dome. Those Flextons can be rather efficient when their careers are threatened, he thought to himself. He entered the module to find Zelton crying uncontrollably. "Oh, please God, please forgive me," he was saying. Kenom finally had to grab and shake him to get his attention. "Stop this," he said. "Stop this crying at once." Zelton managed to gather himself up a bit, but he remained inconsolable. "They're sending me to Flexton," he says. "I don't want to go. I don't want to go. I'll do anything. Just please, don't send me to Flexton. Please, I beg you." "Stop it," said Kenom sternly. "You're not going to be sent to Flexton." Zelton slowly began to stop crying as the words Kenom said started to sink in. He said nothing. He just sat there quietly sobbing. "All right," said Kenom. "That's better. Now listen to me. Are you listening?" Kenom nodded yes. "Say it," said Kenom. "Are you listening to me?" "Yes, I'm listening," came the weak response. "That's better," said Kenom. Here's what's going to happen to you. You're going to be assigned to the religious dome." Zelton broke down again after hearing those words. "No, no, they'll kill me. No, I beg you." Kenom grabbed him and said, "Stop it. They're not going to kill you. You have my word. Do you hear me? They're not going to harm you in any way." Zelton began to control himself. He knew that if a special patrolman said he would not be harmed, it would be so. "Are you sure?" he said meekly. "Yes, I give you my word, as a special patrolman, as a friend." Zelton felt a miracle had occurred. A special patrolman had just called him his friend. He stopped crying and just looked at Kenom. He looked at Kenom as if he was a god. Kenom felt a little uncomfortable to be looked at like that. They sat there for a moment, neither of them quite sure what to say. Then Kenom continued, "You will be under the guidance of Priest Leader Scott. I want you to promise me that you will be obedient and do as he says. I want you to show the utmost respect to him and all the Plutons in the dome and never cause them any trouble. Is that clear?" Zelton nodded in the affirmative. "I want you to say it," said Kenom. "I promise to be obedient and do as Priest Leader Scott says, and never cause any trouble," Zelton finally said. "Good," said Kenom. "I know that if you do that, you will find them to not be near the monsters you believe them to be. You can learn much from them, I assure you." Zelton nodded and said, "I will not let you down, Special Patrolman, sir. I will not let you down." "I'm sure you won't," said Kenom. "Now let's proceed to your new home and meet your new family." Kenom realized that Zelton was still just a child brain-wise. He was only a fanatical God-believer because he wanted to be accepted. Being born on OB probably made him feel more or less like an outcast. By being a God-zealot Zelton, By being a God zealot, Zelton felt he was loved and accepted. The more committed he was to God, the more he felt loved and accepted. After all, he believed that God loved him, even if he was born an OB. Zelton had not completely regained his composure yet when they met Priest Leader Scott. Zelton was surprised that when everyone in the dome came out to greet him, they all made him feel quite welcome. Zelton seemed a bit overwhelmed, but he was visibly pleased. Kenom had voice transferred Leader Scott and told him what he had told Zelton. Priest Leader Scott assured Kenom that all would go well, for they had discussed the matter with the rest of the Plutons, and it was unanimous that Zelton should be in their charge. They all felt it was a great advantage to have a God-fearing Flexton in their midst. They felt they could learn much about how best to direct their conversion efforts. They were happy to do anything that would help them be more effective, not only here in Ob, but on the planet Flexton as well. Seeing that all was well, Kenom said goodbye and left for the mini-dome.